Good day, students. I am Miss Julina Abo, and you can call me Teacher Julina. I'll be your teacher for this hour and for the first session of our discussion. I hope I'd get the full attention of everyone. Class, do you still remember what we discussed during the last meet? Okay, so what is teaching? Very good. To start the lesson, let us watch an inspirational video about a teacher and learn to appreciate them more. While watching, I want you to take down some terms and key points that you get from the video. Did you learn something? For this hour's lesson, our topic will be the rules of teacher. There are actually 5 rules of teachers, but we will first discuss the 2 rules, which is the rules of teachers as an individual and as a professional. After watching the clip, what have you realized? Do you think being a teacher is a simple job? Others would think that being a teacher is easy, but they don't just understand the rules of teachers. So, what do you think the rules of teacher as an individual? Yes, how about as a teacher? What else? What do you think it is about when we talk about the rules of teacher as a professional? Very good. In short, there are multiple rules that teachers need to perform. Now, let's have a full discussion to understand further the topic. As an individual, first, teachers have different talents and skills. Having a specific skills and talents is an advantage in some performing activities like in music, arts, and design that will help both students and school. Second, teachers have different needs. Aside from being a teacher, there are also other matters that teachers need to perform daily outside the school, just like spending time with their families. Third, teachers have individual rights. Just like everybody as an individual, they have the privileges to enjoy human rights. They are given the right to have freedom that will also protect them against discrimination and other harm. Now let's move forward to the rules of teachers as a professional. There are 10 rules, and that includes: first, resource provider, in which you can share your learning materials to your good teachers. It may be soft-bound or hard-bound. Second, instructional specialist. You can give advices or brainstorm with your fellow teachers to plan a creative and effective teaching. Third, curriculum specialist, where you can help your good teachers in creating and revising the materials used in classroom. Fourth, classroom supporter, like simple feedback on your teaching or help them on the lessons that you think they need to improve. And fifth, learning facilitator, in which learning and improving with your co-teachers. Sixth, mentor or role model to new teachers that will help them develop and adjust as a new professionals in the field. Seventh, a school leader that is representing and bringing the pride of school as a whole. And eighth, as a professional, you also need to be a data coach that communicates with multiple levels in schools, like directors or principals. Ninth, catalyst for change, who always look for the better of present and future. And lastly, learner as a professional is a very necessary practice to continue learning and willing to improve. To test if you really listen, answer the following given examples or terms if it is rules of teachers as a professional or as an individual. Please take a look and analyze the following. Answers will be shown after. That's it for the rules of teachers as an individual and as a professional. Now let's continue learning as teacher Alvarez will elaborate the 3 remaining rules of teachers.
Good day, students. How are you? I know you are very eager to learn for today's lesson. I am Queenie Hanalo Alvarez, your instructor for today. Now, for the objective of this lesson, you will be able to describe the various roles of a teacher, discuss the values of a teacher as community leader, and state the importance of the 4 C's teachers need to possess. Today, we will discuss the rules of a teacher as community leader and social advocate, teacher as a model of character, and teacher as an expert. The teacher as a community leader and social advocate. Educators play an important role in the development of people and communities. John and Ed Put in 1994 concretized this idea by encouraging stronger link between home, school, and community through effective programs developed and implemented by teachers. The life of a teacher is neither confined in 4 corners of the classroom, nor limited inside the school campus, for a teacher is an active leader in the community. Teachers always take a leadership role in the activities in their community, especially in activities and projects related to the education and welfare of young children. They also provide leadership roles in various cultural development programs in their community. And finally, teachers provide technical and professional assistance in the local communities where they belong. To illustrate this, teachers represent their local school in developing an educational plan and welfare programs for young children who are protected under Republic Act 7610, the Special Protection of Children Against Abuse, Exploitation, and Discrimination Act. Furthermore, teachers give advice on education matters and they serve as leaders and organizers of community activities for children, women, and youth. PE teachers serve as coaches to sports events and teaching cultural presentations like songs and dances. Some teachers serve as judges to competitions while others are elected as officers to community-based organizations. In many places, we see teachers as freedom fighters organizing various members of the community to sustain the dignity of life. Next, we have the teacher as a model of character. Since ancient times, teachers are recognized as exemplars of good character, attitude, and values. They are keepers of values and traditions of different cultures around the world. Many people consider them as prophets, spiritual leaders, and great mentors that stand on their principles and beliefs, and they faithfully perform their duties. Teachers awarded internationally in every year. In Philippines, some of recipients of 10 outstanding young men and women in nation services are also teachers. They continuously serve as good mentors and they are dedicated professionals who work not for recognition but for their passion to touch the lives and to shape the future of their learners. And we have the last one, the teacher as an expert. Since ancient times, teachers are recognized as sources of wisdom and information in every society. Their ideas penetrated all aspects of life through the wisdom, knowledge, values, and skills they shared to their students who become leaders and citizens in all generations. Schulman in 1987 tried to organize important domains of knowledge that are important to teachers. First, knowledge and content. Teachers should know the subject matter they teach. Second, pedagogical content knowledge means teachers should master the subjects they are teaching and they know how to teach effectively. Third, knowledge about learners. This is the idea of different learning styles, thinking styles, and educational needs of the learners. So teachers enable for them to inculcate knowledge or to hone their students. The teachers use different methods and strategies for their learners to learn better. Fourth, general pedagogical knowledge. This includes general theories of teaching. They should understand the pedagogical principles that are applicable to any classroom situation and in teaching learning context. Knowledge of educational context. It focuses on the cultural, economical, political, and education context that shape and influence education. Sixth, curriculum knowledge. Teachers need to have knowledge and appreciation of innovations, curriculum designs, curriculum materials, assignment, and the curriculum process. Especially now, there is already a new curriculum which is K-12. And we have the last one, knowledge of educational ends, purposes, and values. This is the understanding of the principles, theories, and purposes of education to have deep appreciation of the enduring values of education. Teachers play an important role in the educational system of any country. The knowledge they instill in the minds of their students will always be useful and relevant in everyday life. As experts in different areas, teachers need to possess the 4 C's. First, creativity, a cognitive ability to think outside the box, to develop ideas, possess outstanding talent, and lead effectively. It is also a capacity to innovate, so teachers know to be creative for them to learn or catch the attention of their learners. Critical thinking, a cognitive ability and capacity to think critically in solving problems, making decisions, and presenting ideas. A teacher must be a critical thinker. Commitment, a passion to make difference in the lives of each learners. A teacher must have a deep commitment to their passion because a motivated teacher is vital to a successful classroom and better learning outcome. And last one is character, an exemplar of positive values. A teacher possesses a good character because they know to be a role model of their learners who can influence the attitudes, values, and behaviors of their pupils. And that's ends of our discussion for today. I hope it shed some light on your learning. See you in the next video lesson with Miss Atenta. Bye-bye!
Good day everyone, I am Alanis Me Atenta, or you can call me Ma'am Atenta as well. So let's proceed. In teaching, there are challenges that teachers should face. These include the following: multicultural classroom. So what is multicultural classroom? These are classrooms that embraces diversity and incorporate ideas, beliefs, or people from different countries and cultural background. And here are the challenges of multicultural classroom. Number 1, ethnicity. These studies use a different indicator including parents and student country of birth, the length of the resident in the country, and the language spoken at home, on how students perceive their teacher's behavior or teachers treat individual student. Next, we have racism or inequality. Prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group. typically one that is a minority or marginalized. Number 3, different epistemologies or ways of knowing. The ways of knowing include how people organize their world cognitively through language and other symbol system. They also include how people approach learning and problem solving, how they construct knowledge, and how they pass it on from generation to generation. Number 4, different learning style. It emphasizes the importance of understanding student learning style. It speaks the student how do they learn best individually or in groups, what the worldview do they bring from their culture, and what kind of classroom will be the best reflect the culture. So, let's proceed to learner-centered teaching. So by the way, what is learner-centered teaching? This is an approach that places the learner at the center of the learning. The challenges of learner-centered teaching are 1. Lack of time, identified in the literature as a major barrier to student-centered, who also highlighted significant learning gains made by reducing the breadth of materials covered. There needs to be shift from covering the syllables to a focus on student learn and depth of their learning. Next, assessment. The use of authentic assessment has also been found to encourage deep approaches to learning, as a student are able to see strong link between assessment and its application to their future professional practice. The third one, we have institutional barriers. Those barriers that are outside the control of the individual teacher. Lack of knowledge about learner-centered instruction. This means is that the teacher takes into account the learning goals and objectives of the student in establishing what to teach. This requires the teacher to conduct at least an informal needs assessment to figure out what the student wants to learn. Subject culture. The beliefs, values, and behavior a person or a group of people have with regards to their own teaching or learning in a specific context. Last but not the least, the teacher's attitude towards centered instruction. As the expert in charge of imparting knowledge to his or her student, be a lecture or direct instruction, and the setting student are sometimes described as an empty vessels, listening to and absorbing information.
Thank you, Teacher Atenta, for that wonderful discussion. Good day, class. I'm Teacher Hannah Jane Berdin, and today I will tackle the continuation of Teacher Atenta's discussion. Since we are done with the other challenges issuing, let us now proceed to the challenges in teaching, particularly in multi-grade classes and the ICT integration in the classroom. Let me ask you guys first. When you hear the words multi-grade classes, what comes to your mind first? Thank you for your wonderful insight. So according to Brunswick and Valerian, grade teaching is a teaching where a single teacher is responsible for learners of various ages spread over several grades and who studied different curriculum. So basically, multi-grade classes are made up of students of various ages and grades who have separate curriculum combined and taught together by a single teacher. So imagine having students that highly vary from grades to age to curriculum. That sounds like an invitation for a challenging and stressful work environment for teachers, right? So challenges in teaching, particularly in multi-grade classes, include curriculum organization, professional and social isolation, parents' attitude towards multi-grade teaching and instructional materials, and also classroom management. So challenges. First, let's discuss how curriculum organization became problematic when it comes to teaching in multi-classes. Brown argues that broadly in multi-grade arrangement, although learners of different grades comprise online class, learners have to pursue grade-appropriate curriculum. So this is identified to be the greatest challenge of multi-grade classes because it demands that the curriculum, learning tools, and assessment methodologies used in multi-grade teaching, as well as the learning process, take on different shape and form than in single-grade teaching. The next one is professional and social isolation. So Berry argues that professional and social isolation is one of the challenges that teachers of multi-grade classes is facing. So he adds that multi-grade classes is common in rural schools, in difficult-to-reach locations, and teachers encounter a variety of challenges, including lack of resources, infrequent supervision, poor living conditions, and that is all just in addition to coping with a multi-grade class. Another challenge is the parents' attitude towards multi-grade classes. So parents' attitude towards multi-grade teaching is another challenge faced by multi-grade teachers, according to Brown. He also claims that despite the apparent value of parental support in the education process, multi-grade teaching and teachers do not always have an easy time gaining parent support And he also added that parents' worries regarding multi-grade classrooms are mostly negative. The next one is instructional material. So Brown indicates that there is evidence to suggest that such materials are ineffective in multi-grade teaching. And lastly, we have classroom management. It was also pointed out that classroom management is another problem in regards to multi-grade teaching. So it was discovered that when the educator is working with one group, the other group is working on an assignment. So this work will thereafter be executed without the input or supervision of the educator. The majority of the time, students do not even do the activities that have been handed to them. Alright, that's all for the teaching challenges in multi-grade classes. But we're not done yet. Our next lesson will be about the challenges in teaching with ICT integration classroom. Okay, we have here external variables, so this reflects the problems that the teachers experience while integrating a new technology into their teaching and learning process that are beyond their control. The following are some of the difficulties. So first one is limited accessibility and network connection. So lack of access to resources, particularly home access, is another complex barrier that prevents teachers from integrating new technology into teaching. Another one is schools with limited ICT facilities. Teachers will not be able Teachers will not be able to overcome the barriers to ICT use without both competent technical support in the classroom and whole school resources. Another one is lack of effective training. So the absence of effective training is the most commonly mentioned problem in the literature. Another one is limited time. So according to a number of recent surveys, many teachers are competent and confident in their use of technology. So despite the presence of computers in classroom, students still make limited use of technology due to a shortage of time. The last one is the lack of teachers' competency. So teacher skill in incorporating ICT into pedagogical practice is another difficulty directly related to teacher satisfaction. So now, since we are running out of time, I will now give the stage to teacher Nelly Blayan. Also, I have posted an assignment in your app.
Good day, class. I am your teacher for this hour. I'm teacher Nellen Meiti Budlayan, and today we will be discussing the topics under the challenges of teaching, a continuation of Teacher Berdeen's discussion. Our first topic is all about the brain-based education. Second is all about the multiple intelligences, and third will be the children with special needs. Did you know that you can change the way your students learn, engage their emotions by using brain-based learning techniques? In this lesson, we will learn how to guide learners in becoming critical and creative thinkers, and realize that brain-based education lays a foundation to this. Brain-based learning has hatched a new discipline, now entitled by some as educational neuroscience, or by others as mind, brain, and education science. Whatever we call this not really new discipline, it is a comprehensive approach to instruction using current research from neuroscience. Brain-based education emphasizes how the brain learns naturally. So the aim of brain-based education is to create a brain-friendly environment that immerses students in experiences that are non-threatening yet challenging, and gives students the opportunity to process information actively. For the second topic, we will discuss about the multiple intelligences. Howard Gardner is a psychologist professor at Harvard University's Graduate School of Education. He first outlined his theory in his book, Frames of Mind, the theory of multiple intelligences. These multiple intelligences can be nurtured and strengthened, or ignored or weakened. He believes that each individual has 9 intelligences. First, we have the verbal linguistic intelligence. This is the well-developed verbal skills and sensitivity to sounds, meanings, and rhythm of words. Second, we have the mathematical logical intelligence. This is the ability to think conceptually and abstractly, and capacity to discern logical or numerical patterns. Third, we have musical intelligence. This is the ability to produce and appreciate rhythm, pitch, and timbre. Fourth, we have the visual spatial intelligence. This is the capacity to think in images and pictures. One's body movement to visualize accurately and abstractly. Fifth is the bodily kinesthetic intelligence. This is the ability to control and to handle objects skillfully. Sixth, we have the interpersonal intelligence. This is the capacity to detect and respond appropriately to the moods, motivation, and desire of others. Seventh, we have the intrapersonal intelligence. This is the capacity to be self-aware and in tune with inner feelings, values, beliefs, and thinking processes. Eighth, we have the naturalist intelligence. This is the ability to recognize and categorize plants, animals, and other objects in nature. Ninth, we have the existential intelligence. This is the sensitivity and capacity to tackle deep questions about the human existence, such as what is the meaning of life, why do we die, and how did we get here? So to deal with your students' multiple intelligences, engage your students in visual, tactile, auditory, and other senses to reach more students. So my dear students, as future educators, make sure you're using comprehensive multiple intelligences strategy in your class. And third will be the children with special needs. So what does children with special needs mean? This refers to the children with learning problems or disabilities that make it harder for them to learn than most children in their age. They may have problems with their schoolwork, communication, or behavior. These children will need extra support and additional services. That's all for my discussion. Thank you. Teacher Julia will be the one to discuss the next topic.
Thanks, Teacher Nellen. Hi, this is Teacher Julia, and today I'm excited to discuss with you the UNESCO's 4 pillars of education. Education is at the heart of both personal and community development. Its mission is to enable each of us, without exception, to develop all our talents to the full and to realize our creative potential, including responsibility for our own lives and achievement of personal aims, says Dolores 1996. So the first pillar of UNESCO is learning to know. The focus of this is the brain or mental capacity of the person. Learning to know implies learning how to learn by developing one's concentration, memory skills, and ability to think. Learning to know involves the development of knowledge and skills that are needed to function in the world. These skills include literacy, numeracy, and critical thinking. People have to learn to understand the world around them by combining a sufficiently broad, general knowledge with the opportunity to work in depth on a small number of subjects. This also means learning to learn, autonomous learning, so as to benefit from the opportunities education provides throughout life as a result of learning. The person is transformed. They are more enlightened, more empowered, more enriched. Learning to know helps individuals to develop values and skills for respecting and searching for knowledge and wisdom. Learn to learn, acquire a taste for learning throughout life, develop critical thinking, acquire tools for understanding the world, create a curious mind learner, and understand sustainability concepts and issues. In summary, learning to know helps with the knowledge and information needed to work in a globalized information society and knowledge economy, and the tools for learning how to learn and to independently acquire knowledge. The second pillar of education is learning to do. It describes putting knowledge and learning into practice innovatively through skill development, practical know-how, development of confidence, life skills, personal qualities, aptitudes, and of course, attitudes. Learning to do, learning to do involves the acquisition of skills that are often linked to occupational success, such as computer training, managerial training, and clearly defined task routine, practical transmission, ascendancy of knowledge and information, development of personal competence, and development of social behavior, aptitude for teamwork, risk-taking initiative, and readiness, excellent interpersonal skills. All things considered, the new terms of personal competence, problem-solving, decision-making, innovative, and team skills. Learning to do identifies work-related values for technical and vocational education and training that contribute to the development of the whole person, the worker, and the citizen with the knowledge, values, attitude, behaviors, and skills needed to be able to participate fully and work effectively, ethically, and responsibly in a globalized world. Learning to do in order to acquire not only an occupational skill, but also more broadly the competence to deal with many situations and work in teams It also means learning to do in the context of young people's various social and work experiences. It represents the skillful, creative, and discerning application of knowledge. One must first learn how to learn effectively, how to think creatively, critically and holistically, and how to deeply understand the information that is presented and its systematic implications for individuals and for society in both the short and longer term.
The two remaining pillars of UNESCO will be discussed by teacher Zaime.
Good day, class. I am Zaime Rose Vicampano, but you can call me Teacher Zaime, and I will be your instructor for this hour. So how are you today? That's good. So we must thank God that we're alive and kicking. Can I expect an active participation from you, class? So before we begin with our lesson, we must read first the topic's objective. At the end of this lesson, you are all expected to: first, identify the third and fourth pillars of education. Second, create learning opportunities guided by the third and fourth pillars of education. Third, develop an awareness of the importance of living in harmony with each other with environment. And fourth, create an awareness of the solidarity of mankind regardless of race, religion, and culture. Before we proceed to our discussion for this lesson, let us first have a game. This game will be called What Am I? I will show you sets of scrambled letters on the screen, and you are to identify what is that word or phrases being shown. Everyone should participate, and the students who will guess what the answer is will get an additional point. So let's start. What is the word that you've got? Alright, great job, class. For you to be more familiar with our lesson for today, each one of you will be grouped the sentences and phrases where it belongs. I will give you 10 minutes to answer it. Is that clear, class? How did you find the activity? And what can you say about the sentences and phrases that you have arranged? As I have checked your outputs, you are all correct for this activity. It seems like you are all ready to have the knowledge about our lesson for this hour. Very good! You all deserve a big round of applause. Our topic for this hour is all about the UNESCO's four pillars of education, specifically the third and fourth pillars of education, which is the learning to live together and learning to be. What comes in your mind when you heard the phrase learning to live together? Any idea? Yes, Mary. Wow, very good. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. The problem that motivated the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, to work is to show that the profound change of the traditional frameworks of human existence puts us before the new commitment to better understand the other social being and the world around us. Learning to live together in peace and harmony is a dynamic, holistic, and lifelong process through which the shared values are internalized and practiced. The process begins with the development of inner peace in the minds and hearts of individuals engaged in the search for truth, knowledge, and understanding. It involves the development of social skills and values, such as respect and concern for others, social and interpersonal skills, and an appreciation of the diversity of the world. Learning to live together in the wider society requires awareness of and respect for the human rights and responsibilities of local, national, and global citizenship. Learning to live together as responsible citizens can help reduce tensions due to ethnic or other divisions and social disparities which contribute to the instability or civil conflict seen in many nations today. Next is the learning to be. Does any one of you here have an idea what is learning to be? Yes, Russell. Okay, very good, Russell. Learning to be refers to all-round development of the whole person to fulfill his or her highest potential and be able to think, decide, and act independently, the source of creativity and innovation. Just like what Russell said, it is about self-actualization. The aim of this development is the complete fulfillment of man in all the richness of his personality, the complexity of his forms of expression, and his various commitments. As individual, member of a family and of a community, citizen and producer, inventor of techniques, and creative tree. Learning to be involves activities that fosters personal development in the body, mind, and spirit, and contribute to creativity, personal discovery of an appreciation of the inherent value provided by these pursuits. All people should receive in their childhood and youth an education that equips them to develop their own independent, critical way of thinking and judgment so that they can make up their own minds on the best courses of action in the different circumstances in their lives. In that connection, education must not disregard any aspect of person's potential. The memory, reasoning, aesthetic sense,
physical capacities, and communication skills. How to define learning to live together and learning to be class. Very good! So as for your activity, you are to clap your hands if the statement is learning to live together, and nod your head if it is learning to be. Alright, so what have you learned for today? Very well said, everyone! As for your evaluation, I will be sending a Google form link and should be answered in 10 minutes only. As for your assignment, you are to write a 250 words essay on how the third and fourth pillars of education contribute to lifelong learning. Thank you, class, for listening and for your active